Welcome to Community Connections with Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. I'm just one of your hosts, Sean Boyle. With me is
Ashley Mott.
And welcome to the half-hour radio program that airs every Sunday on 104.5 The Flame at 10 a.m., but also because of a wonderful partnership with St. Lucie Public Schools, we are also broadcasting this particular episode on WLX TV, which can be found on all your major cable providers, or like me, you can just look them up on YouTube. Look up WLX TV St. Lucie, and you'll see all their wonderful programs.
We were just talking about YouTube before the show got started.
Absolutely. That's the way you watch TV. That's the way
I
the youngins
know.
watch TV.
It's true.
And then myself too, apparently. So welcome to the show that's all about connecting you, the listener, and the viewers to resources and things that are available in our great community we call St. Lucie County. Now we at the Children's Services Council, still not professionals at this hosting radio, television thing, but what we do for our community, and we work hard every single day, Ashley, myself, our entire team, and the board, is 5 things. And those 5 things are: 1, making sure, and say it with me, folks, if you watch the show or listen to the show frequently. 1, making sure every baby's a healthy baby. 2, stopping child abuse by building strong families. 3, keeping kids off the streets. 4, keeping them in school. And 5, keeping them off drugs, alcohol, and other risky behaviors by offering programs and resources for all families in our community.
That is right. And so we use this show and several other outlets that we're going to talk about to share information about the programs that do the work in those priority areas that Sean mentioned. So one of the ways that you can learn more is on our website at cscslc.org. We have an extensive list of all of our funded program partners there, along with contact information for each one of them. So if there is something in particular that you're looking for, you can find it there on our website. We also have these handy printed guides. Sean has brought...
I came prepared.
Sean has brought props today. But we have these family guides that we print a couple times a year and distribute all throughout the community. So if you have a location where we can bring these to you, so that you can distribute them to your clients, to your residents, to your congregation members, please let us know. We'll get them dropped off to you. It is a really handy guide, a list of all of the programs that we work with in the community and contact information for
It's
all
one
of
of the
them.
quickest ways to learn about many of the resources that are available in our
That's
community.
true.
Not as entertaining as watching this show
No.
or listening to this radio program,
Definitely not.
but it's a close second.
It is, and I'll tell you, John and I from our office had the opportunity to meet with a couple of principals last week, and one of them said to me that she keeps a stack of these at her desk because regardless of she's talking to teachers or parents or the guidance counselor, if they're trying to help a family or help a child, she takes this out and she finds the program and she circles it and she gives it to somebody. So we know that they're being used. So.
And that's why we encourage everybody, if you're interested in being a champion in your neighborhood, as Ashley said, your workplace, congregation, or just your extended family, we will be happy to deliver all these. If you're old school and you want the paper copy, Ashley, myself, Sandy,
We'll
John, we will
drop 'em
personally
off.
deliver them to you.
That's right.
Because we distribute about 10 to 15,000 of these a year.
At least. And there is actually a simple form on our website that you can fill out, so it'll get right to us. You tell us how many you want, where you want them delivered, and we'll take care of it for you.
And speaking of, one of the things that's very prominent in here, and I just want to point it out because we've been talking about them a lot, is 211. And 211, if you don't know, if you're unsure, if I need help with whatever it may be in your household, you can call 211. Or more importantly, if you're ever in a crisis, if you just need somebody to talk to, you can call 211. Or if you don't want to talk to somebody, but you still want to communicate, because in today's world, you got to have a texting option.
That's right.
You can text 898-211 and you put in your zip code and you'll get connected with the person that knows all about your local resources.
Yeah, and I think too, we've talked about this. We've had Colleen on the show recently, who's amazing and wonderful and always a fun time to have a conversation with. But a lot of people don't realize that 211 also manages our local crisis hotline.
Yes.
So for anybody who is feeling suicidal, worried about something like that, having thoughts, local representatives answer that line 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they really work to manage the problem that's causing those thoughts, in addition to mitigating what the crisis is at that moment. So they're really successful at it. We're really lucky to have them here. Not every community has one. I feel like we keep saying that about all of our programs. Not every community has a 211. So please take advantage of it. Make sure that we're using it to find resources.
And related to that, and we didn't plan this out.
No, we did not.
Our guest was
Not
asking.
usually.
Our guest, who we're going to introduce soon, was asking if we have like an outline. We're like,
We
no,
don't.
we don't do that anymore. But when we're speaking about crisis, I also want to just point out another resource They actually presented to our board last month. And, you know, we know through COVID and just talking with families out in the community that, you know, COVID has really exacerbated some of the stressors that are in a family, whether it be helping, you know, need for food or rent, or quite honestly, just family behavior management of your kids and that whole atmosphere, if you will. So we provide a program in the community in partnership with Hibiscus Children's Center called Supporting Families in Crisis. The crisis is defined by whoever makes that call. It could be, I'm getting ready to be evicted. It could be, I need food, or it could be, my 16-year-old is driving me crazy and I need help with that. Whatever the crisis is, you can call them. They respond within 24 hours. They sit down with you. They are your advocate to help you navigate the resources that are in the community. And they just have a great team over there, Will, Jackie, that whole crew over there. And I'm going to give you that number. And I know we're throwing out a lot of numbers, but this one, if you can write it down, Supporting Families in Crisis, 772, thought I had it memorized, 772-340-5044.
We do give that number out quite a bit, so I'm shocked that you didn't remember.
I know, I do. Between that and the United Way's number and 211, I give those numbers out frequently.
Good note, though, if you don't remember the number, you can always just call 211 and ask.
Yes, or call us.
Or call us, that's right.
And I bring up family stressors and dynamics because I don't know if parents and grandparents are aware of this, but summer is past the halfway point.
Yeah.
So what that means is, I don't know what your household's like. I have a teacher, so I don't, in my household, I'm married to a teacher, so she's like kind of excited, but also, you know, I gotta get back to work. I'm sure most parents are like, yes, kids are going back to school, but regardless, if you're excited or it's stressing you out, the kids are going to be excited and stressed, and now is the time to begin to think about what your child is going to do after school. Hopefully your child's enrolled in a summer program or a summer experience or summer camp, whatever they call it anymore, and that's going to continue at that location during the school year. But if not, now is the time to do that exploration before all the slots fill up. Through the Children's Services Council and its network of providers, we have, I believe, 17 locations, north, south, east, west, all throughout the county. Jump on our website, which is cscslc.org, grab the program guide, find out which one appeals to you, or maybe which one is close to your work or home. If you can, take a tour, make that call, and get your child enrolled.
And I will say, because this is a question that we get asked a lot, quite a few of them have transportation agreements with St. Lucie Public Schools, so they can transport your child from schools to the location depending on where they go to school, where the program is. So those are good questions to ask when you call, just to make sure that all your bases are covered.
So I have a segue to our guest. I'm going to allow you to introduce her, but because we brought this guest on because we just hinted, because school is getting ready to start, and not only do we want to support our kids, we want to support those that work with our kids.
That's right. They are important as well. So we're really excited. I feel like it's been almost a year maybe since we've had her on the show.
Well,
is that right?
she's been at the United Way for a year, and I think we brought her on like a month or so, and we threw like tough questions like, what's your phone number and website? She was so new, she didn't know, but she's got it down this time.
So we are really excited to have her back with us. Dina Shatley is with us from United Way, and I feel like a lot of people in our community are probably familiar with the United Way. A lot of people in general are probably aware, have heard of the United Way in their community before. But you guys do some specific things in our community, have some specific goals for our community. So let's just talk about those broadly, and then we'll talk specifically about getting back to school and how you guys are preparing for that as well.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, so much like Children's Services Council United Way, we are funders of nonprofits in our community. In a general year, we would focus on organizations that are based under health, education, financial stability, and basic needs. You guys talked a lot about the difference this year with a lot of people facing crisis, a lot of people struggling with different things in their lives. So one thing that we did this year is we took a step back and looked at what the community was most in need of, and we identified that our county, much like other counties, we're really struggling with a lot of things. There's a lot of access to food issues, financial issues, not being able to pay their rent, utilities. A lot of people who have lost their jobs, lost insurance, so they weren't able to access health care. We know that mental health issues kind of blew up a lot. People who maybe hadn't struggled with anxiety or just the struggles of being inside all the time, that really popped up some issues for a lot of people. So what we decided to do this year is we funded what we identified as critical needs programs in our community. So we really took a look at what organizations were providing that assistance to individuals, whether it was assistance to health, prescription assistance, access to food, the rent, mortgage, utilities, things like that. So that is what we chose to fund this year. So we just finished our citizen review panels and our grant process. So that is what we focused on this year. So those are the organizations that received funding. So there is a lot of resources for people in our community. And then ideally, things are going to get back to normal on some point, fingers crossed, and we will be able to shift next year back to our regular process with the education, health, financial stability, and basic needs for this community.
Sorry.
Okay.
I see.
There's much to say.
I do think that it's important to note, and I have said this to Sean before as the CEO of the Children's Services Council, and I know that your CEO, Jessica Parrish, worked really hard to do this as well. But I think in our community specifically, as two funding organizations that worked in our community, the two of them pivoted so quickly
Absolutely.
during COVID.
100%.
And I think we've heard from other communities that did not happen there and that they're still trying to catch up
Absolutely.
and struggling a little bit. But I think that in our community, we were really lucky that and it wasn't just the two of you, it was a whole funding collaborative who really worked to, like you said, identify what those needs were and address them quickly to really keep our families whole so that they didn't get into an even further crisis.
Absolutely.
That's funny. I know we do the show a lot. That's exactly what I was going to bring up. I just wanted to commend the United Way because, as Ashley said, your whole team. I know I would say at least we talk to the United Way, either you or Jessica, at least multiple times a week. But particularly around COVID, the way that we were able to leverage each other's funding
Absolutely.
to make sure that we help the community. It's funny. It's exactly what I was going to
Yeah.
bring. So it's really just a nice way of saying, a long way of saying, I should say, big thanks to you, Jessica, your entire team and board.
And we do work very closely with the United Way. We have a lot of organizations that receive funding from both of us. So I think that's an important piece to share in our community. We don't compete for resources.
No.
We really try to do the best we can to make sure that we are making those nonprofits as successful as possible, and we do that together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one thing that's really great about St. Lucie County is I believe that everyone is really in it for the benefit of this county. I think it's a very special community, and I think I'm very thankful for all the leaders in the community that are really focused on doing what's best. Like you said, that some communities maybe didn't pivot as fast, and I think that there was a lot of people who were able to take that step back, and it's like, what do we need to not only make this a strong community, but the people here are so important to us. What do we need to do to help them?
If we weren't tethered to these chairs by these mics, we would reach over and give each other high fives for sure. So that's a good segue because speaking about working together and supporting our community, you guys do an initiative each year. It's kind of changed in the last couple of years, but it's so huge, and I know we're signed up to volunteer.
Yeah.
We're very excited
We're
about
working.
it.
Yes. And a couple members of your team are as well, so which we're very, very excited about. So so we have a program with United Way. It's our Tools for School Teacher Resource Center. We are a Kids in Need Foundation affiliate. So what we are able to do is we are able to provide school supplies, brand new school supplies to our public school teachers at no cost to them. So through the process of our year, we are able to provide the school supplies to specific schools. We do have requirements to participate in our program. The school administrators have to be on board. They have to register. So we do have a checks and balances. We have to make sure that we are getting the supplies to the schools that are in need, that is getting into those kiddos' hands. That's really what is really the focus. So with that, every year we do a back to school bash, which is open to all public school teachers. We do have limited space just because if we would be doing it for months
I think
to be able to touch everyone. So we do have limited space. It is a first come, first serve situation. Last year, we had to shift a little bit. So we did a curbside pickup. So we spent a week of just packing bags. Teachers registered, drove through, and we just put them in the cars and sent them on their way.
I remember that.
Yes, Sean was there on a Saturday. Yes,
in the front,
yes,
and for like 3 hours straight.
Yes, and big boxes of copy paper. That's the other thing. So this year we are shifting back to our regular back to school bash, where we're going to allow teachers to come and shop on site in our store. It is not much bigger than this room. I know people can't see what size this room is. It's not very large, but we do have it set up looking kind of like a store, and we do have items, backpacks that teachers can give to students that are in need, crayons, markers, copy paper, things like that. One thing that in a traditional year, I think that it's utilized a lot. However, last year, I believe we had a significant increase. Students weren't allowed to share items. So everybody needed their own pack of crayons, their own pack of markers, things like that. And this year, we know that everyone's going back to brick and mortar school. So we're identifying there's going to be more kids on site. So there's going to be a more need for supplies. So we want to make sure that we're getting these teachers on the right path as soon as they can, as soon as they're walking in that door, that if they have students that are coming in that don't have a pencil, don't have a backpack, that they're able to say like, here, we have something for you so that you have the tools you need to start learning from jump. So we want to make sure that that's the most important. We also are able to, this year, we don't know how much longer we're going to be able to do this. We did get a large donation of Lysol wipes directly from our Kids in Need Foundation as well. So we were able to give a canister of Lysol wipes to each teacher as long as supplies last.
Yeah, that's gold right
and
there.
I will tell you, that and copy paper, it is gold. Like, people get so excited about those things. So, so that is what we are doing. Starting, we're going to be running it August 3rd through the 7th. So it's a Tuesday through a Saturday. We're there almost all day. We do have shifts of about 2.5 hours. We need about 10 volunteers for each shift because we need people who are going to walk around and shop with the teachers to help them pack up their supplies. We will need to restock the shelves, so that's going to be a big process
like
as well.
working in a retail
It
store.
exactly is. It is. It really is.
We're signed up. I
You
know.
guys are.
I
They're
work
like, what are
retail. I know you work retail.
We're gonna relive our days. So I think a couple things. We shared the sign-up information on our Facebook page
Yes.
last week. So if anybody is looking and is still interested, if there are slots available, it will let you know when you get there. But the supplies that you distribute to these teachers are all donated also.
A majority, yes, so.
So that's a continuing
Yes.
need to restock
Yeah.
the shelves in that store. What can people do? How can they get supplies to you if they're still interested in donating? And or is monetary donations also accepted?
All of the above. We have all of the above. So we have a couple different options. If you are in an organization and you would like to run a school supply drive for us, you can just contact our office, 772-464-5300. And I can get you all the information that you need. We have all of the marketing information, so you can just put your logo on it. We have boxes that we can supply to you for collection. So if you would like to do that, just call our office. Additionally, we are currently running a virtual school supply drive. We were not able for the second year in a row able to do our Stuff the Bus on site at the Walmarts this year. Fingers crossed next year we'll be back to that. So how we have it set up on our website, unitedwayslc.org. If you click on the Tools for School virtual supply drive, it is set up to where we have an Amazon wish list with all the items that we need. So what I did is I went through and kind of identified what were our biggest needs last year and put those on our wish list, and you can purchase, and they come directly to our office, and they go directly to our school, to the teachers, to the kiddos. And then there also is just a donate. You can just donate a certain monetary value. It is set up to where I think it's roughly $25 can get you a backpack full of supplies. So you can just do that, or you can just identify an amount that you would like. Anything is welcome because it is going directly to purchasing school supplies for the teachers in our public schools.
And I think it's important that our viewers understand, and I'm gonna use the Alice report from the United Way. If you look at the families that are in poverty and the families that are Alice, which is asset limited, income constrained, but employed.
Yes, good
so
job.
The United Way made me memorize that. we have about half the population that are literally living paycheck to paycheck. And so when you think about the excitement of school starting,
Yeah.
right? There is going to be some kids that don't have the new clothes or the new backpack or the paper and the pencils. And I love the idea that the teachers now get to choose which kids, because the teachers know firsthand in the classrooms.
Exactly.
So I say all that to say, and I was just at Walmart running errands right before I came to the taping of the show. They're already putting all the school supplies,
They
all the
are.
major retailers.
Yes.
So when you go, if you have means to, if you have children or grandchildren and you're buying paper and backpacks, why not pick up a double supply or an extra supply and donate it to the United Way? Because it's going to be moved like rather quickly. And it's going to get into those hands that truly, truly need it. So this is a great initiative. I'm curious, is it only that week for the shopping? Or do you open then throughout the school year?
Sure. So we will be every day that week. We are not open every day in general. So there is a process to, like I said, schools have to enroll to participate. And there's a website that the teachers can schedule appointments. We do have limited appointments, and it's on scheduled days. Generally, it's every Tuesday from about 2 till 6 that they can schedule appointments. We take about 3 teachers every 30 minutes. It may be 3 this year because I noticed that a lot of teachers couldn't get there around 2, so we didn't have a lot of filled appointments then. So that is generally what our schedule is like, and then we do 1 Saturday a month from 9 to 1.
Oh, nice.
So we know that a lot of teachers may tutor after school, may do athletics, and it's just not reasonable for them to get there on Tuesdays. So that's why we do have at least the 1 Saturday a month to give them a different option.
And I know you grew up in a
teacher.
teacher home, right? I have a
She's
not only
continuing.
Yeah.
my wife, but my daughter, and then my daughter's boyfriend is all teachers are in the school. And teachers, they, my wife spends probably $1,000 at least a year, not for herself, but
Right.
for her classroom and her kids. So this is it's like a double win, right? It's a win for the kids that get the supplies, but it's also a win to help those teachers out.
Absolutely.
So I'm very
Yeah.
excited.
Well,
about
and I think to your point too, I have kids, I have young kids that are in school now, and there is sort of that stigma attached to the kids who show up that don't have everything
Yeah.
that they need. And so with this model, it's very easy for the teacher to quietly slip some things to a student
Yeah.
that maybe doesn't have them, that doesn't draw a lot of attention to the fact
Yeah.
that they weren't prepared when they got to school. So I love this model. I think it's really cool. I know you guys toured a lot of facilities before you actually settled on what this would look like. But I think it's a really cool opportunity, not just to get the supplies into the hands of the kids who really need them, but also to show appreciation to the teachers, because it's kind of a cool experience for
Yeah.
them to get to go and pick their own things and show up for that. So I'm excited to work.
You will be working.
Yeah.
I'm working.
I'm kinda-
Sean can tell you from last
I'm
year.
usually the manual labor person, but if I could go around and shop with somebody, that would be
Yeah.
fun.
No, you can't do that.
Well, it actually is it really is fun.
Yeah, you're making her make me do the manual labor.
That's what I'm
Like, at what point do I have to? Can I stop doing the manual labor? I lifted all the milk on all the food
There you
drives.
go,
And now,
there you go.
Anyway, but
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, if someone is interested in coming to work with me and Sean,
There you go.
where is that information and how can they get more?
It's on our website as well. It's unitedwayslc.org/get involved. I was going to say our impact, but it's /get involved. And you can just click on the flyer and it'll take you right to the Sign Up Genius to sign up to volunteer. We do have several slots still open, but people are volunteering. People are showing up this year for our teachers. I'm very excited about that. You guys are as well. So
I think people are just excited to get
Yes,
yeah,
I think it
it's
is.
such a good cause too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's indoors.
Yeah, last year it was not. It is indoors. We do have one of my favorite things is throughout the year we do utilize volunteers in the school or in the store. And I have a lot of teenagers that volunteer,
awesome.
and that's so fun because they're learning, customer service.
That
They're
is.
learning inventory, things like that. But they're also giving back to their community as well.
And so what I'm hearing from this, obviously, in a couple of weeks is when a lot of people are going to be coming through, but you do this all year round.
Yeah.
So here's the challenge, folks. I was leading up just to make sure.
I'm not really sure.
So for those listeners and viewers, if whether it's your workplace or just your neighborhood, or maybe you're a member of a civic group or your congregation, why not do a school supply drive? Raise either volunteer to help out throughout the whole year, not just in a couple of weeks, or quite honestly, raise money or start gathering supplies and donate it, because it's not just in a couple of weeks when school starts, we're done, we're gearing up for next August. This happens all year round. And, part of the reason why we do this show is to make sure that people know about resources, but also ways to get involved and have a big impact. This is a way, I promise you, half the people watching this are going to be in Walmart or Target or whatever. Being like, all right, going through that list at the store, like, all right, you need, the
Five
rule
of
paper,
these,
you need
four
this.
of these.
So pick up some extra ones and donate it to the United Way, and let's make sure that every kid has a great school year.
Well, and I like that you mentioned too that it's not just now, because I can guarantee you, I know from my own kids, by Christmas break,
Yeah.
something is lost, something
Backpack
is
is
missing. We're buying a new lunchbox
hard,
because
yep.
somebody left it out and ants got
Yeah.
in it. Like there's a lot of things that continually need to be replaced for them. So it's not just now; it's all the time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I'm just curious, as we kind of throw this little gauntlet out, and hopefully
I know,
people take us
right?
up on that challenge, is there one school supply that you're like, we always need, we always run out of? So if they're in Walmart or Target or
That's the one
Amazon,
thing
they're
to
like, we're going to double this order of whatever.
I will tell you copy paper.
Copy paper?
Copy paper and dry erase markers.
Okay.
Teachers utilize those
The most.
so much. We do have, some supplies that we get regularly, like we have crayons, markers, and things like that. So those are the two things that it's like
So an extra ream of
they
paper.
come in, and that's the one thing that they are most in need of.
All right, so I'm, okay.
No,
I'm gonna
he's
word this
got another-
carefully. So for those
another
of you that are
challenge.
listening that work in a business or workplace,
Oh, absolutely.
and I'm not saying you steal it. I'm saying you talk to ownership and say, hey, can we donate
donation.
1 or 2 reams of paper to the United Way
There you go.
for teachers, because that's a simple
Yeah.
way. That's the bare minimum. You got to do that. But we're asking you to go on Amazon, Walmart, Target, and pick up extras as well.
You have to do that.
No.
That's kind of.
We strongly encourage. Look,
There you
it's
go.
all about
Yes.
being involved and having.
No, you're right. I like it. And to your point, a lot of offices are ordering copy paper for themselves anyway. A couple
There you
extra
go.
reams is not going to hurt. Then they're making a
It's
donation.
the start of
agree.
your green initiative. We're going to start by going green by giving at least 1 ream of paper to the United Way.
We'll bring you ours from our
Oh,
office.
nice. I'm excited. Yes.
We'll have to clear it with our office manager,
Oh,
but
yeah.
we'll try.
I'll expect it when you guys come
Yeah,
in
okay,
August.
fair enough,
There
fair
you go.
enough.
We got it.
All right, so we got about a minute or so left. I want you to give out all your contact information. Now, one thing that we have learned by being on the radio, when you give out phone numbers and websites, you got to slow down because people can write
Oh,
it down.
and I'm a fast talker.
But it's also important not only for school supplies, but also the United Way is if you have a workplace or a congregation and you have a great team that can go in and talk about all the wonderful things that the United Way are doing, and people can donate all year round, so not only for the school supplies, but for all the programs that you help fund and all the wonderful things that you're doing.
Absolutely. So our phone number, and I'll try to be slow because I talk super fast, is 772-464-5300. And our website is unitedwayslc.org.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am.
So we have 50 seconds left.
Uh-oh.
I'll give you 2 options.
Oh,
Anything
no.
else you want to talk about? Or any shout outs you want to give before we wrap it up?
Oh no, that's like pressure. That is pressure.
Too much. It's too much.
I don't know. I'll give shout outs to everyone in the community that has really stepped up for St. Lucie County this year, and everyone who is volunteering not only for our back to school bash, but throughout the year at our school supply store, as well as our citizen review panels, where we really take a deep dive into the organizations that we're looking at funding. So get out there, give back to your community, volunteer, guys. It's good for you, good for the community, good for your soul.
Challenge accepted.
That's
Do
good
it.
job. I would encourage everybody to go to the website, which is unitedway.org, and find out how you can get involved. Thank you for coming on the show. And I want to remind everybody it's a weekly radio program on 104.5 The Flame at 10 a.m. And a simple reminder that, as we talked about in the show, that it's our children, our community, our future. Now more than ever, folks, get involved because we're all in this together. We'll see you next time.